you is, are you ready to accept the call of a mentor?
Next slide, sir, in the Cowboys gear. Okay. This is, like you said, you have it on your paper. If you are a coach, these are some of the things you want to look for. For depression, loss of interest, some type of semblance of hopelessness, whether in speech or in deed, any kind of weight changes, okay, and any type of fatigue. You want to look at those things as well. And this is, like I said, is just a few of the what to look for. The next one is anxiety. You want to look for some sleep problems. Why are you so tired? That could be the fatigue as well. Can't sleep. If you can't sleep, you can't, when you get up, you can't go back to sleep. What's the deal with the sleep? Upset stomach. People like upset stomach. Yes. Your body is keeping score, which is a book. I forgot the author's name, but your body is keeping score of kind of what's happening in your mind and in your environment. Excessive worry and avoidance. Boy, avoidance is a big one. I'm not talking to that person. I'm not going there. I'm not doing this. I don't want to, because there's another fear that's behind that. Like, what is that? Why is that? So I have a saying too that we need to avoid avoidance. Okay. Anxiety is very prevalent, very prevalent, very prevalent. And like I said, it's okay in small doses, but when it kind of gets overwhelming, when it gets overwhelming, that's when we have to check some things. As a coach, what may be helpful is, like you said earlier, Jeremy, believe in them when they say something is wrong, or believe in them when they say they had a thought or two, or whatever the case is, and being there to listen and be supportive of that. All right. How do you be supportive? You listen. You want to sit down. You really want to listen. If you don't have time to listen, hear them enough to get them someone that will listen, get them some help. Check in with them often. How you doing today? What's going on? Remember what you told me the other day. How's that going? You want to check in, because one thing about it, if someone is listening to you, when they see you again and you say something about what they told you, they know that you're paying attention to them. Encourage getting help. We talked about the getting a therapist or things of that nature, and how it was taboo. It was taboo for a long time in churches. Now church is coming around like, oh, Jesus was the counselor. Yes. All right. Teach mindfulness and positive self-talk. Mindfulness is just being focused, kind of not being all over the place. And it's a technique to all of that. Positive self-talk is easy to teach. You're just teaching them how to say what Jesus said about them, mainly. Okay? What does God say about you? What does God say? Labels that have been put on you as a coach or youth or students, we want to kind of reverse that. Okay? And then take any remark of suicide very seriously. Any remark, take it seriously and get some help. I was so glad as a resident therapist and an NCC when they came out with the National 988 number. Game changer for sure. All right, so let's talk about this page for a second. What to look for, depression and anxiety. Tell me some of if you have anything that you've heard as far as mental health being taboo. Tell me about anything that you have run into, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a family member, that I know I see the thought clouds over almost everybody's head, kind of like, okay, talk to me a little bit. What are you thinking? What's kind of running through your mind? Right. And that's thank you for saying that too, because people will kind of hold that in if you're getting burnt out, and well, I have to be here. But we also can say, I need you to get some help. I can't keep doing this, because if we don't use our voice to tell someone kind of what's going on, then they don't know. We want people to guess a lot, and people can't read your mind. Like, we have to talk about getting help. And my pastor used to say, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Keep talking about it. Keep talking about it until it's done. Anybody else? Thank you for that, Sam. Anybody else?
Question would be like, I can see that a student or a young person is struggling. Hard for me to know what to say, because in some way I don't want it to be the only thing I ever talk to them about. How you feel today? How's that thing going? Whatever that tough thing is. So, like, I guess knowing what to say to be encouraging, but also knowing I can't necessarily force them. Like, you talk about being impressed, you probably couldn't force you to be happy in those moments. So I just think trying to find a balance, or maybe some advice on like things to say when you know someone really is struggling.
My advice would be to say the opposite of what they're feeling. When I say that, I'm saying pour into them all the affirmations about who they really are, because affirmations work wonders, right? Because God says who they are, but this other side, the enemy or whatever is kind of going on, is saying something different. So what we want to do is pour in the affirmations of who they are, to the core of them. I mean, you don't have to say, hey, every day you running up to them, but just kind of pulling in that positive talk to them and helping them realize that they are stronger than they think they are, that they can do more than they thought they could do, that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. All these things, and encouraging, like, oh man, you put those chairs up. Thank you for doing that without me asking you. Just whatever you can to be a positive light for them. Okay, negativity is easy to find. It's around every corner. But positivity has to be intentional. Really, you have to make sure you give that away. Anybody else before we move on?
I would also say being present.
Oh yeah.
To answer the question, I'm not licensed. I'm just saying, every time you see somebody, they're going through anxiety or stress or anything, you don't want to, how are you today? Like, emphasizing, but just your presence. And, we have a God that sees us. So see people, I see, I love to say, I see you out there, I see you looking nice today, a compliment goes a long way to boost that self-confidence as well. For people who are struggling, I know that in a male's role, you have to watch how you, but just a compliment, or just, saying something that they're seen, they're loved. I think those things are always helpful.
Yep. That listening, especially if they'll talk. If they talk, you want to just listen for sure. And even on that note, whether in mental health, we talk about this in marriages all the time as well, is if you are listening, they may not want any advice. They might not want you to tell them what to do next. They just want you to listen. If you want to help them, hey, how can I help? How can I help you? What would you like for me to do? And then they'll tell you. They'll tell you. So, good questions, good feedback. Anybody else? I won't cut anybody off. This is important.
I have 2 things, but I'm gonna wait till then.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Well, I want to go back on what I think is the same.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll be off if I'm talking. I want to go back to what Sam also is referring to. He's referring to it as someone who's in sports and that type of burnout feeling that you can get. And I'm not in sports, and Rick, I've said that, but I do supervise it. And I noticed when I first started supervising sports and rec, and even being at this gathering, this is a very siloed ministry. You can feel very isolated, very alone, very, sometimes with our leadership, we're always looking at numbers. Like, how many kids do we have playing soccer? How many do we have playing basketball? You need to do this, you need to do that. And as the ministry person over it, have really come in, which is, it may not be of God, but I've come in and just said, we are going to slow down because you all are going to kill yourself trying to help this church figure out the 100 things that we want to do or shouldn't be doing. And what I have noticed is those feelings of hopelessness, those feelings of like extremely being anxious as a staff member or as the director. And just what I see up here is encouraged to get help. And I know as one of the people on our team, I've had to say, slow down, let's make sure your mental is okay before you go out here, your relationship with God and to get you some help also mentally, because if we can't pour from an empty cup. And so I just didn't want to miss what he was saying in some of that, burnt out. Maybe I missed what you're saying, but when people work you like a Hebrew slave sometimes, I just know the feeling. You can burn out yourself and have all this depression and anxiety or never thinking that you can do enough or be good enough.
So. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Anything from my young ones here? Your young ones. Nothing, just taking it all in. Okay. And you're right, because in our sports ministry, we have kids from 5 to, 15, 16, depending on the season. And I'm watchful. I'm always watchful. I can't see all the kids, but we try to make sure our coaches know what to look for as well, because it's not just about winning this season or winning the game or whatever the case may be. It's about winning, period. So what are we doing for them to win for themselves? What we incorporated years ago was we pray before every practice. We're praying for kids before every practice and after practice. We pray before every game and at the end of every game. And that doesn't mean that every kid that comes to our program is in ministry. Some of them don't go to church. Their parents don't go to church. But all the church they see, or the God they see, is what they get out of our program. So if they don't take anything else with them, they're going to know that, I can talk to God. I can pray, right? So we definitely incorporate those things. So if one of the burnouts, if you praying too much, get one of them kids to pray. Teach them how to pray. All right, that's one thing off your shoulders. All right. Thank you for listening to our podcast today, The Call of a Mentor. If you'd like to leave a positive comment, or if you'd like to be on our show, please give us a call at 757-737-8714, or you can drop us a text message. You can also email us at communityservant85@yahoo.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Call of a Mentor is a production of Marriage Mapp Ministries and EOVBAA in association with Overwhelming Victory Radio. Our executive producers are Dwight and Angela McDowell and Dr. Greg Linville, with Andrew Fouts as our associate producer. To find out more about Overwhelming Victory Radio or to listen to any of our sister podcasts, visit overwhelmingvictory.org.